Welcome, all you cool cats and kittens. I'm Bill Tibbetts, the Dean of the College of Business and Technology at North Central University here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And today's guest is a marketing giant, world-renowned for his branding skills. In fact, before Taco Bell hired him to manage their brand, they used to be called Taco Ding Dong. Welcome, our guest, Professor Mark Skeba. Now, Professor Skeba, that Taco Bell thing is not true, but you have, in fact, worked with some incredible brands before. Can you share with our viewers a few of the brands that you've had your fingerprints on?
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Glad to be here. I spent most of my marketing career at General Mills in a variety of roles, from sort of brand management, internal strategy, and then ultimately I spent a lot of my time working with external agencies, and we had a small creative team internally. And I've got the fun to work on some of the biggest brands out there. I love working on Totino's because it's a brand without rules. It's sort of this vice brand that's sort of like live free, couch hard. I've worked on Hamburger Helper. We dropped a rap album on that on April Fools a few years ago. Annie's Organics, Larabar, Epic Bar brand. And with my students, because last summer I worked on on Gushers, and we launched a galactic mystery flavor that got featured on Hypebeast right next to like the coolest shoes. So it was like immediate street cred. I was like, look, I got some Hypebeast going on. But yeah, the people at Taco Bell would probably be upset if they thought I was working on that brand. But they're like next level when it comes to digital marketing. But some cool stuff there.
That's fantastic. I love that you worked on pizza rolls, because I'm pretty sure one of my rolls is full of just pizza rolls. With that being said, today we're talking all things COVID and business marketing. Specifically, we want to talk about what should brands be doing today, regardless of size, regardless of industry. What should they be doing today compared to yesterday and today's climate? And more so, what should we be doing with an unknown future? So I ask that of you, Professor Skeba. What do you think brands should be doing today when it comes to marketing?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think right now there's this pressure for brands to do everything different, right? And I'm going to maybe give the counter answer to that. I think that the best brands have consistency, right? So Snickers, right? You're not you when you're hungry. One of the best taglines out there. Fun fact, that started. They promised the advertising team that was working on it during the brief this like awesome catered lunch. So to come hungry. They said like 11:30 came, didn't deliver. 12 came, didn't deliver. 12:30, 1, 2, 3, and then they're like, surprise, there's no lunch. Everybody's angry. Everybody's hungry. That kind of briefed this great idea, or so the story goes. But even if you go back like 30, 40 years ago, back to like the 70s, Snickers was still about satisfaction. They have evolved the way that they communicate, but what they've stood for has been consistent. I think the best brands have that level of consistency. So in what's going on in today's climate, I think the best brands stay the course, and what they stand for should be consistent. How they bring that to market is what needs to evolve, right? So when I kind of look at branding, there's something I learned from an awesome mentor of mine, a guy named Michael Fanuel, who is sort of a brand strategist genius, and I got the privilege to work for him for a while. And one of the things that he talked about was the best brands have 3 A's: ambition, authenticity, and action. And if brands have those, it really sets them apart from the competition. So I'm going to kind of look at what's going on with COVID-19 in light of that. So first thing I want to highlight is I think the best brands stay authentic. What that means is this is not the time to change your brand voice. This is not the time to be about new values that have no connection to your brand. If you're not involved in the medical industry or have some real way of connecting with that, don't do it, right? If you're working on, you brought up Taco Bell. If you're working Taco Bell, like a tweet that uses your wrapper as a face mask, real bad idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the flip, there's a company that I love to follow. I think they're incredibly cool. They're in the CrossFit space, but they're bigger than that. It's Rogue Fitness. They're the biggest now fitness manufacturing out there. Their whole belief when they built the company up was returning American manufacturing, right? And building the absolute highest quality stuff out there in America. That was a core value of theirs. At this time, with gyms closed, they are seeing an influx of orders because they're providing value where people are buying and setting up their home gym. They're like, look, I want to work out. People who are passionate about that are buying stuff. In fact, they're having a hard time keeping up with demand because it's gone so high. Well, in this time, they've hired a lot of people. What they've also done is they've hired people at $2 more than their normal starting salary because they want to provide jobs, and they realize that this is their ability to contribute to American manufacturing and stay true to their core values. Now, they've communicated that in a cool, authentic way. And then even on social media, one of the things they do is they're working around the clock, right? Because demand is so high. They've actually started catering lunches from all the local restaurants that have shut down. So they're working ahead, bringing in that food, and that's their ability to keep jobs in their community in Columbus, Ohio. Awesome brand, and they're continuing to do that at this time. Now, if they had not been about that historically, and they're like, hey, this is what we're about to do, it doesn't seem as consistent. But since they have stayed the course and then amplified it, it reinforces who they are and their authenticity. And it's probably creating a deeper level of passion and love for that brand.
That's cool. Very cool. Very cool. I think that's a lot of what you just shared is really online with what we're seeing in research with consumer behavior. Whenever there's an upset of some kind, especially when it comes to the economy, there's a deeper sense of wanting familiarity amongst consumers. And so for brands to stay online with who they've been could really speak to that need from the consumers at this point. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. I think that continued authenticity creates more trust.
That's
I think the second thing that the best brands are doing right now is they stick to their mission, right? So I'm going to give a couple examples, right? But and sometimes right now, when everything is blowing up, sticking to your mission and doing what you have done and continuing to do that is the best value you can provide to consumers. So U-Haul got a lot of publicity because they said, with all the students needing to move off campus, we're going to provide 30 days free storage. They do that anyways. That's part of their normal intro package, right? But at this time, even more valuable, right?
Big deal.
Disney is all about imagination and inspiration. Right now, we need that more than ever. We don't need Disney to kind of abandon ship, change a new course. We need Disney Plus delivered. That has become essential dollars in our house, right? Yeah. My wife got the free trial. And at the end of that, she said, this is the most important money that we will spend. With the exception of our tithe and giving to God and supporting ministry, Absolutely. Disney Plus God gets first, Disney Plus gets second, right?
Star Wars, was it Clone Wars? Yeah, that's it. All about the Clone Wars, the newest season of Clone Wars.
For sure, right? You continue to do what you do. And then, I mentioned I've worked most of my career at General Mills. I still do a little bit of marketing work for them outside of the classroom. And they have a corporate mission here in North America. And it's all about, 1 million acts of good. And they try to serve the world by making food people love. Right now, one of the ways that they can help the world is by staying the course and serving the world with food people love, right? At a time like this, when it's stressful, for me to be able to still get my healthy Lara bars, right, is a great thing. For me, at a time like this, when it's stressful, to be like, you know what, I could really use some Chex Mix, awesome thing. And part of what they're doing is actually, if they have healthy headquarters employees, in some plants, they're sending them to make sure that they can keep up with demand. At a time like this, a brand that already has a good mission and continues to do that is going to be one that creates value in the same way they have created value, but it's going to deepen that relationship with consumers.
That's really cool. Very cool. And what was your third point?
The last one is action. I think at a time like this, like I said, it's about consistency, and what you stand for needs to be the same, but the way you deliver it's got to evolve for a lot of businesses, right? And they're just two small businesses local here in Minnesota that I like. One is a company that called Vibrant. They do health and PT and nutrition. My wife works for them. It is amazing how fast they went from a company that has to do everything hands-on physical to flipping tons of digital content, lots of Zoom nutrition meetings, Zoom personal training if people are up for that, Zoom physical therapy. And they still have this mission where they're trying to make people healthier. And in fact, right now, if they can keep people healthy and out of the hospital, that's hitting their mission.
Yeah.
Now, they were a hands-on company. Real quick, they've taken action to say, okay, we're going to move everything digital. Right. The other one I like is a company called Plato's Closet in Maple Grove. If you know them, they do recycled, stylish kid clothes. That's where I do most of my shopping. Right. I try to stay hip with the youth. And one of the things that was really interesting, again, a physical store, a franchise store in Maple Grove. It was amazing to me how quickly they got their stuff online. And in fact, it's kind of cool because it's actually easier to scroll through it online sometimes than even going into store. Now, this is not their core business. But they have, at a time like this, found ways to take action to continue delivering value to consumers and to their customers. And I think the thing that's really cool is sometimes we figure out, okay, we have to get to perfection. At a time like this, consumers are very forgiving.
Yeah.
And consumers are just excited to be able to use their favorite stuff, even if you don't hit perfection. Plus, right now, what else are you going to do, right? You got to get stuff online. And this is a great learning tool for all these things. I know my wife, who does nutrition counseling, is learning a ton about digital media, how to use these new platforms. Their company's learning, right? This is stuff that hopefully when they come out and they can actually have their core business back will make them stronger. But I think it's a great time for brands to take action and do something to continue to deliver value to consumers.
Fantastic, fantastic. We just have a minute left. Why don't you share any last thoughts, last words of encouragement to anyone out there trying to stay afloat? What's your last words of wisdom when it comes to business marketing?
Here's what you should not do. I can't tell you what to do. Here's what not to do. Do not tweet irrational stuff about COVID-19, right? It's like a celebrity death. If that celebrity did not work at you, just never tweet about celebrity deaths. I would say don't try. If it feels gross, it is gross. The internet will take anything that is sort of like a little bit off, and they will lambast you for it, right? If you're an airline company, it's not the time to tweet about deals, right? Yep. It seems really gross. I use the gross test. If it feels like you're trying to profit off of something that is killing people, you will get called out for it, and you won't be in a better place. So that's all I got. Yeah.
That's fantastic. It's really, really good advice. So I want to thank you. Thank you for your time. I'm sure I've pulled you away from doing more important things. So really, really do appreciate it. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us today. And look forward again to another one of these in the future. And we'll be there to support and engage you when it comes to best practices in business. Take care, everybody.